Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by Hunter McElrea of Andretti Autosport and Indy Lights. How's it going, Hunter?
Good, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Well, talk about how the season went for you. I know I know it's been forever since we last raced at Laguna Seca, but overall, how do you think the 2022 campaign went for you?
Yeah, look, it was a big learning year for sure. Ultimately, I think it was in a lot of ways very successful. I polled on debut, like fair margin. I had a lot of wins, a lot of poles, and a lot of podiums. So very happy with my performance as a whole. I think one rookie of the year, obviously two. Forgot about that. Out of a pretty stout rookie list. But yeah, lots of learnings as well. I had a lot of probably mistakes, particularly early on in the year, which maybe took me out of championship contention. But I saw some cool little stats and things like that of the points from the second half of the year. I was the most out of anyone. So, championships aren't one and halves. You have to win both halves. But it's encouraging seeing that heading into next year.
Yeah, for sure. Talk about just I know that you are. I know it was announced that you're going to be back with Andretti next year. Just talk about how exciting is that to kind of be back with this team, and of course you'll have a new teammate as well, the Indy Pro 2000 champion Louis Foster.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. For me, it's really nice to come back for the second year and just build on what we learned on. I have the same engineer, same team. It's going to be so good to keep that continuity and rolling forward into next year. And I think it's pretty obvious what we're pushing for, right? And it's really going to be great for all of us. I think we managed to get a deal done really early. To be honest, I think we mutually agreed, that it was going to be the best thing is sticking together. We were both keen to stay together, the team and I, that is. And we came to a deal pretty quick. And that's the quickest I've ever had a deal done for the next year. So that was really refreshing to see that the team were also keen to keep me on. And I think Louis will also be quite strong. He's obviously had a good background in Europe, did really well in Indy Pro this year. I'm excited to see what he thinks of the lights car. It's a completely different beast to what he'll be used to for sure, but he'll adapt, and I think he'll be pushing me really hard all year for sure.
And of course, I'll find out when, of course, we got the Chris Griffiths test coming up in October next month. So it's going to be interesting to see. What do you think about going into? I know that the schedule has not been released for Indy Lights, but I know IndyCar's schedule was out there yesterday. Obviously, no changes there, but a lot of events are probably similar to what they run. What is it like to go to? Do you expect it? I don't expect any changes to it, but what is your favorite track on the schedule?
Look, St. Pete's always a great place to start the year because it's an awesome area, awesome weather, especially when you've been in Indy where it's snowing and cold and terrible. So when you go to Florida, that's just awesome itself. But I love starting the year at St. Pete. I've always gone well there. It's hard, man, because I personally, along with probably many other race car drivers, it's like wherever you go good at, you love, right? Or wherever you just had a really good experience at, you love. Mid-Ohio has always been a track where I've been able to win that every year. I don't know why, but I have a great streak going there. So I can't leave Mid-Ohio out. But to be honest, I really loved Iowa too. Again, probably because I was really fast and won there. So if I look at an unbiased way of what I really enjoyed driving and maybe one that surprised me, I would say Nashville, to be honest. I really enjoyed Nashville. The track's crazy and you walk it and you're like, this is stupid. Like you walk it and you're like, this is not going to flow well at all. And then you get in the car and like, I was shocked at like how fun it was, particularly like the last sector and the first sector. Like I really enjoyed it. So for sure, there's probably little things that we could maybe adjust to make better, like turn 4. I don't know if you know the two corners at the end of the straights. Turn 9, the second one's fine, but I think turn 4, it's a little tight. And if we could maybe go a block up the road and turn around, it'd be good. But no, I really, really like the track. and I hope it stays. I know IndyCar had a very interesting race there, to say the least, but we didn't have one safety car in Indy Lights, so you know, I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, obviously there were less cars from you guys. Speaking of car count, there's going to be, I think I've heard 19 cars going to be in the field next year. So I mean, obviously new teams will be in there as well. Of course, Cape Motorsports is joining with Jagger. Well, how exciting is it to see all these entries into lights?
It's good, I think, for the series. Truthfully, I don't think there'll be any more people at the front, like fighting for the win. Like last year or this year, I should say, we had 7 race winners, which is very, very impressive, I think, and it shows the depth of talent at the front. I think what we're going to see next year is, and again, I'm not sleeping on anyone, but there's going to be a lot of guys who are learning, and really, really kind of getting their toes wet in the series. So guys from maybe we didn't really have that many guys from. It was kind of like, I don't know, 7 or 8 guys who could win races, and then we had a field of 13, and then there was 5 guys who were learning. Whereas I think it'll be maybe 7 or 8 guys who can win races, and then 10 or 11 guys that are learning. So overall, I think when there's more cars, it just legitimizes everything. It shows that there's a big, strong field, and people perceive that as like, oh, there's a lot of competition, which there will be, but I don't necessarily think it's going to be at the front necessarily tougher. I don't think it's going to be any, for sure, no less tough than this year. But I think if you look at it, this year, it was such a stout field, and just talking to other Indy Lights guys of how strong the field was this year, who raced the year before, kind of legitimizes that, I think. So, yeah, I think, to be honest, it's exciting. I think more cars is always better for everyone. And it'll be interesting at these short tracks, managing traffic. That's going to be something that's going to be important.
So so I know the off season just started, but what are your plans for the off season in terms of and obviously the holidays are coming up and all that fun stuff, but in terms of how busy your off season is going to be, kind of talk about what to expect from you.
Yeah, so obviously I have the Chris Griffiths coming up, so I'm doing that test. Then I have another test after that. I think we have about 2 tests in the next 3 weeks coming up, so we still have a little bit of a break here, which has been nice. Obviously looking forward to getting back in the car though. But yeah, looking forward to Chris Griffiths at Indy. Obviously I live in Indy now, so it's gonna be nice to have a leisurely drive to the track in the morning from my apartment, but that's always nice. But yeah, I'm going to probably go home to Australia, I think, shortly after that for some sponsorship stuff. And then I'll come back for some more testing here. And then I'm just kind of sorting out now when I'll go back home for Christmas. So I think we have about 7 or so tests from now to the start of the season, maybe a little more. Kind of interesting, we're on the Firestones for next year, but we don't get to drive them till, I think, February. So we have a lot of testing on the Coopers still, which I guess is the same for everyone. I'd probably prefer it like that, so all the rookies don't get to hop straight on the Firestone. They also have to drive the Cooper and then get on the Firestone. So I think it'll be a fun little challenge, and I'm kind of looking forward to having to be thrown in the deep end and just adapt.
Yeah, is it going to be different with the new tire compound this season? Next season, I should say?
I mean, honestly, I haven't been told anything like too crazy about it. I think obviously Roger Penske, obviously owns IndyCar, Indy Lights, and obviously Penske is only trying to improve Indy Lights. I have to say a huge thanks to everything that Cooper Tires did. They've driven on that tire for the last 4 years now, so huge thanks to them and everything they did to support the series I was in through the road to Indy. But I'm excited. I think I've heard that the tire is probably going to be, well, not even heard. The rumors are that the car is going to be a lot faster now because it's going to have a lot more grip, which will be interesting. The Coopers were quite a hard tire, and you obviously see the cars sliding a lot and us working the wheel a lot, but we never had that much tire deg. So it'd be interesting to see like what the difference is. Maybe we'll have way more grip, but we'll be dealing with a lot more tire deg in the race. So that's going to be definitely new. And I guess just something that we're going to have to keep open-minded about.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously entering into 2023 with as you said, the same guys. Um, talk about obviously your goals is to win a championship. But overall, what do you want to see out of next year?
Just have fun, man. I learned a lot. Like if you focus too much on the result, um, it really can kind of come crashing down a bit, and if you put too much stress on it and yeah, trying to force things too much, it never really goes well. So for me, I really just want to have fun, and I know I can win. I know I can do it. I proved that this year. So I have a really great team behind us. We had ups and downs, but ultimately, I think heading into next year, we're looking very strong. So just doing the job. I think just hitting your own marks and focusing on my own stuff, and I think we'll be there. So if I maximize myself and my team does their job, which I'm sure they will, that'll be all we need to do. So yeah, that's just it really. Just I learned a lot too of making the bad days not DNFs, making a bad day P5 instead of in the fence. So that's probably what I learned a lot toward the end of this year, and probably why I was obviously I had a lot of podiums and wins in the second half of the year too, but also my bad days was only the P5 or so. So I think that's kind of what I'm going to be taking to next year, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, Hunter McElrea, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and congrats on a great season in 2022. Best of luck in 2023. Let's have you on again sometime.
For sure, mate. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.